Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, 𝖢𝖥𝖣yi, Senior Market Analyst. In this video I'm going to take you through the week ahead. We're going to take a look at that important data coming up this week as well as some charts of interest. So got a lot of data to cover this week. We have some CPI data out of Canada. We have FOMC meeting minutes, and then on Thursday there's a pretty big day in terms of manufacturing and services PMI out of Europe, the UK, and then in the US in the afternoon. So definitely more towards the end of the week we're going to see this high impact data ramp up a little bit. Volatility should be fairly high this week considering we've got high impact data throughout the majority of the week. Maybe a little bit slow on Monday considering we've got bank holidays in the US and Canada, so the afternoon session may be a little bit lacking of volatility. Going on to the strength meter then, so we can see that the US dollar now the dominant currency, the strongest on the strength meter. Are we going to start to see this peak out and start to see a little bit of weakness come in, or is the dollar going to hold on to that strength? We can see CAD has dropped a little bit, but if we do see stronger CPI figures, then we could see CAD remain fairly strong, and the Australian dollar has come from these -5 levels and is now pushing higher. So Aussie to me is one to watch in terms of reversals. This is what we actually talked about last week, and we were looking at potentially Aussie Swiss longs, which looks something like that could continue going into this week, depending on if that Australian dollar can continue to strengthen. We've got some Oz meeting minutes as well. Going on to the US dollar index then, so very interesting week actually. Last week we had very strong data out of the US in CPI that saw the US dollar index breach above that 104.50 handle, which was these previous highs formed in November. And I thought that we would see the US dollar press on from there, but it didn't. It actually came closed back within this area of resistance of the 104.50. So dollar in a little bit of an interesting area now. We could see either a drop towards this trend line support and towards the 104s if it breaks that down to the 103.50s. But if it doesn't and we actually break through this area here and close back above 104.50, then I still think the 106s could be something to look for in terms of targets on the US dollar index. Going on to the US dollar yen then, so dollar yen continuing to press higher. We've broke through multiple levels of resistance, including this recent swing high at the 149.70. Next area of interest for me would be up towards 151.80. So if we do find any kind of support in here, price could head towards that sort of 151.80 handle this week. Going on to Kiwi dollar then, so I've pointed Kiwi dollar out because price is in a range, and I think ranges are quite easy to identify in the markets, and we can see 61.50 are the range highs, 0.6050 are the range lows. If price comes into the range highs like it looks like it's approaching now, then it could be a good time to look at if the market's going to make a decision here. Are we going to breach and move higher? Are we going to hold and trade back towards the range lows? So that's something to consider this week. Price may obviously just drop towards the 0.6050 if the dollar does begin to strengthen again. So I'll be watching to see, do we get any kind of breakout of this range? Ultimately, price could remain fairly range bound going into this week. Finally then, silver. We talked about silver last week. I like the idea of being long silver at $22. We can see price came back into this really strong level of support. Last week we also took a look at the gold silver ratio, which was showing that there could be a good potential for silver to start being a little bit more valued in the market over gold, and we can see we've had a very strong rally away from that level. We're now into the 23.50 highs, so I'd like to see price trade through these highs because that would give us a strong indication that maybe we're going to see a move up towards 24.50 and potentially 25.50. So that's all I've got for you this week. I hope you have a good trading week. I'll catch you on the live streams this week. Please subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you in the next video.